We either evolve or we die. Welcome back, sales professionals and leaders. Well, today we're going to discuss evolve or die, or in other words, reinvent yourself or lose, become more efficient or face huge disadvantages. And this couldn't ring more true than it has this last year during the pandemic, as the way we did business pre-pandemic was not the same way we had to do business this last year during the pandemic. It was those people that evolved and reinvented and became more efficient or effective, continued to have success while other people may have struggled. So we're going to talk about what I mean to evolve or die, and I'm going to give you some questions you can ask yourself on how can you evolve and reinvent. And then we'll cover a couple situations and give you some tips on how to reinvent yourself. So with every task that we have, there's a process for us to follow, no matter how simple or complex the task is. And for those tasks that don't have a process, as people, we generally create a process for us to follow, especially if it's something that we're going to do over and over again. Now these processes, after some time, become habits. And habits is something that we can do without much thought involved, something we know by heart. It's at this point now that we know the process well enough to really do it without much thought, is we need to reinvent it. We need to look at it and say, what can I do to make this better? So if you ask yourself these three questions, we'll be able to do that. The first one is, how can I improve this process? How can I make it faster? How can I make it better? The second one is, how can I make this product more effective? And the third one is, how can I increase my return on investment? Because if you can have a greater return on investment for the same allotted amount of time, now you're going to increase your success rate. So a couple examples that we can use is phone prospecting. Look at the structure that you're using. Reevaluate the structure. Can you become a little bit more excited about it? Can you ask different questions, maybe better questions, more complex questions? Are you able to tie these questions in to bring about emotions? I want you to think about a time cap per call. I believe the max time on a phone call should be 6 minutes. If you're unable to make the appointment within 6 minutes, the chances of you making the appointment after 6 minutes, it steadily decreases. That might save you some time there. Think about it. If you're making 20 calls an hour, how can I make 25? What could I do to get me there? The sales interview process. This is one, it's so hard to get people to commit to an interview, a presentation. And then, even if they show up, that's the hardest part in sales. So once they're there, we need to do our best. So again, what structure are you using? Can it be changed? Can it be shorter? Does it need to be longer? Do we need to ask better questions to develop the needs of our prospect? What are we using to show our prospect our benefits? And is it something they can see, they can touch? And not just we're telling it to them? Are we giving them a timeline? Like if you had our product today, this is what it would do for you. And by this day, by this month, or how many weeks or years out, here's what you can generally expect. Are we having them feel what our product can do for them? So these are all very important things. So with every task that you do, reevaluate, ask yourself, because everything that we do can be done better, faster, with a higher return on investment. The reason we don't sometimes is because it takes change and it takes more practice and it takes us to think, and sometimes it's uncomfortable and we don't want to because we're comfortable with what we're doing. But I promise you, if you evolve and you reinvent, that you will have a higher rate of success. Evolve means to develop gradually. So I'm not saying have these huge changes tomorrow. Input small, little changes throughout your processes and see what happens. To reinvent means to change something so much as if it might be a new process. So over time, this process we have might be completely different in a year or two. Evolve or die. Change with the times, change with society, change with the thought processes that people have. I hope you learned something today. Get out there, evolve, reinvent, become more efficient, become more effective, and go get that success. Have a great day.